So now I'm going to give two interpretations. First, I will give the classical Vedantic, Advaita-Vedantic interpretation, and then a broader interpretation, more inclusive interpretation. But first, the classical interpretation. According to classical Advaita-Vedanta, Shankara and post-Shankara Advaita-Vedanta, these practices which have been mentioned here, broadly they fall into three groups, and all of them are necessary. But they have to be done in sequence. At any time, one will be more important than the other. You can do them all together, but one will be more efficacious and more necessary for us. So three. Why these three spiritual practices, three yogas? Why? Because we have three levels of problems. We struggle at three levels. The first level, the most obvious level is, of course, as we have noticed, we don't know who we are. We don't know this. So ignorance is our first problem. And the solution for ignorance is always knowledge. And knowledge is produced by the path called the way of knowledge, Jnana Yoga. And what do you do in Jnana Yoga? You listen, you reflect, and you meditate. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Three components are there. Now, Jnana Yoga, then that should be straightforward. But it isn't. We may listen. We may have listened to YouTube lectures by the hour, and once I went, a couple of years back, I went back to our main monastery in India. And a brahmachari, who's a monastic novice, he came up, a very humorous chap. He comes up to me with a big smile. It's the first time he's seeing me in person. He said, my YouTube practice is complete today. You have manifested yourself. He was joking. He said, I've watched hours and hours of your YouTube talks, and then I became a monk. This is the first time I'm seeing you in the flesh. He said it in Hindi. I'll tell you, his Hindi is even more funny. He said, आज मेरा YouTube साधना पूर्ण हुआ, आप प्रकट हो गए. So my YouTube sadhana is, my YouTube spiritual practice is over. So even YouTube is a yoga, YouTube yoga. But it doesn't work. Not so easy. Either it doesn't appeal to us, it seems very academic and dry, or it seems fascinating but doesn't seem practical. People say, tell us something practical. I always say that to me the most practical thing seems to be the way of knowledge. The most direct, most practical. It's an immediate answer and solution to our problems. But for most people it seems theoretical. Many call it dry. And people say, okay, I find it interesting, but my life, but this much must be admitted, my life isn't changing. I'm still the same person. I have no realization. You have to realize in the self, by the self. Nothing is happening. I'm still the same self, same person. So what's wrong here? The Vedanta says our problem lies at there's a more surface level of the problem, which is called, the mind is a flickering mind, distracted mind. If you have ignorant mind, solution is knowledge. But distracted mind, solution is meditation. Solution is focus, concentration. To get focus or concentration, we need meditation. In Sanskrit, Upasana. Here two yogas will become useful. Bhakti yoga and your Raja yoga. Both will become useful here. Raja yoga because it trains the mind in calmness and focus. It stills the mind. Stills the mind is not going to sleep. Stills the mind is like when your mind is focused. When you're studying, concentrating deeply on some activity. That's the still mind. It's very active, but it's active in one direction, like a laser beam, focused. Usually activity of the mind for us means flickering. And we misunderstand stilling for going to sleep. Yeah, mind is still there. That's not what is meant by still mind. Still mind is the same object, the same thought, the same center of attention, again and again and again, focused on that. It's not something that we are unaware of, unaccustomed to. We do that in our lives. If you have studied deeply, if you have played a musical instrument well, if you have concentrated on a game of tennis, whatever we know what concentration is, focus is. And bhakti also is very useful for this. A great amount of our distraction is due to desires, a flickering mind here and there, pulled here and there. Anxieties, desires. Great devotion to God focuses our mind. What the heart loves, the mind will follow. Our attention will go where our love is. So if my love is for the Lord, my attention will be there also. In the Bible it is said, where your treasure is, there your heart is. So my treasure is there, so my heart, my attention, my thoughts will be there. Also, anxieties, fears, that also disturbs our mind. We have a great support, the mightiest power in the universe behind you, none greater than God. God is my support. Then I am free. I do not depend on anything and anybody except God. So great. It will focus the mind. It will settle the mind. I've been practicing meditation for long years and still nothing has changed. Whenever I try to meditate, my mind, either I fall asleep or my mind is flickering here and there. I'm waiting, how long, when can I get up? It happens to everybody. That restless mind is due to what is called rajas. Rajas means the element of impurity, dynamism, energy, activity, restlessness in the mind. That is the quality. Then, or it falls asleep. That's due to a quality called tamas, darkness, inertia, a kind of heaviness which comes. So why isn't meditation succeeding? If meditation is supposed to calm my mind, still my mind, so that I can catch the Vedantic truth, the knowledge will blossom, will appear in my mind. Not happening. So Vedanta tells us that there is a third, even more surface level of the problem, which is impurity in the mind, impure mind. We have thrown a lot of garbage into this mind in our lifetime due to incautious living, careless or carefree living. And many lifetimes, there are layer after layer of impurities and darknesses and negativities in this mind. Those have to be purified. They will not allow the mind to settle down. Again, Bible, blessed, short statements. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. They shall see God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. What we are talking about here, self-realization, God-realization, purity of the heart. Swami Prabhavananda in his book, Sermon on the Mount According to Vedanta, he says, suppose I say, I am pure, I think at least. How do I know that I am not pure? He says, it's simple. Try to hold on to a thought in the mind for a few minutes. It's very easy. We say easy peasy. So take up a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya or something, any mantra. Think of the Lord, Krishna, 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 Rama Krishna, Rama Krishna, Jai Shri Rama Krishna. Think about that. A form of the Lord and a mantra. Within seconds, within minutes, you will find it has been tossed out, some other thought is coming. I made up my mind, my decision, my thought for just 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Can't do it. Why? It's worth asking this question. Why? My mind is so intimate, close to me. It should be in my hands, under my control, my direction. It seems to be easiest to handle. The body is close to me. I can control the body. The mind is even closer to me. So I should be able to control the mind. But I can't. Why so difficult? And the biggest reason is impurity of mind. Mind is clouded by impurities. And so that the effect of the impurities is restlessness, slipperiness. Our mind is, we are unable to control the mind. It blows hither and thither like the wind. Arjuna says to Krishna, the mind is as difficult to control as the wind. One might as well try to trap the wind. You can't. So this is due to impurity. Is it impossible to control? No, it can be controlled. Yogis do control the mind. How? By purifying. So impure mind is the problem. Solution? Pure mind. No brainer. But how? And that's the difficult part. one powerful way of purifying the mind is called karma yoga. Karma yoga. Karma yoga is spiritualizing our actions. Whatever we are doing in life, to dedicate it to the Lord, instead of all our actions are automatically, by default, are all about I, me, mine. Self-centered. And here the self does not mean limitless existence, consciousness, bliss. It just means this guy. Everything is for myself. Everything is for myself. This selfish tendency is reversed by karma yoga. Selfless. When I try to do this selfless action, what happens is layer after layer of the mind is purified. Karma yoga. So now we have got karma yoga to purify the mind. Then we have meditation and bhakti yoga also. I'll say one more thing about bhakti yoga later. Meditation to concentrate the purified mind, and jnana yoga, the way of knowledge, to generate knowledge in the purified, concentrated mind. So I always say you try to make a matrix in your mind about, visualize a matrix, 3x3 matrix. 3 rows and 3 columns. What are the 3 columns? The 3 kinds of, the 3 columns are problem, solution, method. Problem, solution, method. And the 3 rows, the outermost, the problem is impure mind. Solution is pure mind. Method is karma yoga. Spiritualization of our lives, our actions. Both so-called worldly, secular life and also our spiritual, religious life. Spiritualization of our lives. And that's done, the central idea is unselfish, selfless. One powerful way of making it selfless is to dedicate it to God. Then the next row, the middle row, problem, distracted mind. Solution, concentrated mind. Method, meditation. Final, the deepest level of the problem, the core, ignorant mind. Solution, knowledge. Method, the way of knowledge, jnana yoga. What we do in advaita-vedanta. And there the method is shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Here, reflect, meditate. So there are 2, notice meditation has come twice. Once for focus, for polishing the mind, focusing the mind, concentrating the mind. And the next one, to dwell on the results of your jnana yoga practice. By hearing and by discriminating, by analysis, you have come to a certain result. I am not the body-mind. I am the awareness to which the body-mind is appearing. Now you have to stay with that awareness. That's another kind of meditation, which is called nididhyasana, non-dual meditation. So this is the matrix of sadhana. And according to Advaita-vedanta, they will try very hard to fit this, what Krishna has said, into that matrix of sadhana. Yeah. Now bhakti yoga, remember I introduced it halfway. Why I did that? The Sanskrit names for the practices are jnana, upasana, karma. Jnana, knowledge. Upasana has 2 meanings, worship, meditation. The usual meaning of upasana in all Indian languages generally is worship. But if you go to Vedas, upasana is a series of meditations, Vedic meditations. And then karma. The Vedas themselves are divided broadly into three categories. One is karma kanda, the ritualistic portion. Rituals, actual religious rituals which you perform, light a fire and chant the mantras and offer. The old kind of ritual which Hindus used to do, even now. Nothing dies in Hinduism. Everything will go on. But layers are added. Now the modern ritual is more puja, what we call puja. You have Ganesh Puja, Durga Puja, Shivaratri Puja. Then we are going to have Ram Navami, the birthday of Lord Rama coming up this Sunday. Janmashtami. So these are pujas and daily puja in the temples, in your homes, in your puja. But before this modern kind of puja, modern means about 2,000 years old or so. But before that, what was in vogue was the Vedic rituals. From Agnihotra, which was done at home, a small fire ritual, to big multi-priest affairs which would go on for days. That is, all of that was the source for that, the text for that, the source text for that were what are called the Karma Kanda, the ritualistic portions of the Vedas. But then there's another smaller part of the Vedas called the Upasana Kanda, which are not physical rituals but are visualizations and meditations. The word Upasana later came to mean puja, worship. What we do is also called Upasana. The ritualistic worship and prayer altogether is now in modern Hinduism, it's called Upasana. But in Vedas, Upasana was meditations, various kinds of visualizations. And finally, we have something in the Vedas called the Jnana Kanda, the knowledge portion. Another name for Jnana Kanda, we all know that, Vedanta. There's a Vedanta Society of New York. So Vedanta is the knowledge portion of the Vedas. So you're looking at the core or the final or the acme of Vedantic teachings, or Vedic teachings. Vedanta is only the knowledge portion, but it is backed up by the work portion and the meditation portion. And that develops into these three kinds of yogas later on. The work portion, if you spiritualize it, it becomes karma yoga. And broaden it. It's not just Vedic rituals, any kind of work. That's what Krishna did in the Bhagavad Gita. He broadened action to include any kind of action, including down to this most horrible, the worst kind of action, which is fighting wars. Arjuna, the battlefield. That also, he says, you can spiritualize, do it as your duty, and that will purify you. So action can be spiritualized, and should be. So it becomes karma yoga. The meditation portion can be spiritualized. That becomes dhyana yoga, meditation, the way of meditation, or what Vivekananda called Raja Yoga. And also it is Bhakti Yoga. Upasana is also Bhakti Yoga. Upasana means Bhakti actually, worship, adoration, worship. And the knowledge portion becomes Jnana Yoga. Advaita-vedanta is primarily Jnana Yoga. But remember, it presupposes that we have done the hard work. The foundational work has been done. This is a superstructure, but the foundation, the groundwork has to be done. The groundwork is preparation, purification of the mind and focus of the mind. What Vivekananda put it in this way, all we can do is polish the mirror. That polishing the mirror has two aspects. One is wipe it and then scrub it. So wiping it is purifying the mind, karma yoga. And scrubbing it, make it shine, that is Jnana Yoga. Make it one-pointed. So the mind becomes a most powerful instrument. All knowledge, Vivekananda would say, depends upon concentration, the power of concentration. And give nature a hard knock with the power of concentration, and she will yield up her secrets. So knowledge comes from focus, concentration. Both purity and concentration are already taken for granted in the way of knowledge. And so Krishna here teaches that these are what are required. Now, I'm still in the classical, this Advaita-Vedanta framework. So, Advaita-Vedanta framework is true knowledge. You will attain enlightenment. Knowledge is just another name for enlightenment. Enlightenment, what does it mean? Light. Oh, I get it. Knowledge. Why is that knowledge required at all? Because our problem is ignorance. You are already Atman. You are already Brahman. You are already one with God. You are already limitless, immortal, self-fulfilled, self-luminous, but we don't know any of it. This is ignorance. And this ignorance is removed by knowledge. And knowledge is generated by this Jnana Yoga. So, Advaita Vedanta is by knowledge alone you will get liberation. And there's no other way. There's simply no other way. Everything else, it's like darkness. Only way of removing darkness is to switch on the light. You can't scrub darkness away. You can't yell at darkness, go away. No. You can't beat a drum, darkness will disappear. No. You have to switch on the light. Only knowledge will remove the darkness of ignorance. But for knowledge to arise, the mind must be prepared. And the preparation of the mind requires karma yoga and dhyana yoga, meditation. Bhakti yoga, devotion to God, is useful at all three levels actually. It purifies the mind. impure mind is made pure by love of God. It wonderfully concentrates the mind. So scattered mind is collected. After all, bhakti is what? It is concentrated desire. All desires, the 100-fold desires which flow out to the world are collected into one almighty love of God. So it's a focus. It's focus of the mind. And by the grace of God also, this knowledge or enlightenment becomes possible. So both, all three, purification, concentration and enlightenment, all are helped by bhakti. All are mediated by bhakti. So bhakti works at all three levels. All right. So this is the traditional approach. What would the commentators say here? This is the sequence, we stand by it, because ultimately it has to be knowledge. So we stand by this sequence, but it has to be, all of these are required and they are combined. And they are combined in sequence. Ultimately, however, it has to come to knowledge. It has to culminate in this realization, I am Brahman. I am this limitless self. And then only realization is possible in the self, by the self, realization of the self. In this body and mind, with the mind which has been purified, focused and saturated with Vedanta knowledge. What will be realized? The true self. I am Satchidanand, I am Brahman, I am the Atman. That will be realized. Therefore, if you see the commentator here, this one particular commentary I am reading, this is Sridhar Swami. There he says, because Krishna here does not clearly indicate a sequence. What I just said, the matrix, is not at all clear here. Krishna seems to say that there are multiple paths. And so there is some realized by meditation, some realized by Sankhya, some realized by yoga, some realized by karma yoga.
Become Swami Vivekananda's messenger. Share the video with 3 of your friends.